cities in the Rocky Mountains.
Welcome to Court Cousins, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kyle. I'm joined, as always, by my cousin, my co-host, Jason the Pish. We've got a wonderful show today, ladies and gentlemen. We're, of course, going to check in with each other. We love each other. We're cousins on our ROLO Check In. Then we will scour the interwebs for your posts about our beloved Orlando Magic in the social media roundup. We're going to introduce something new, Peach, today. Not Court Cousins, but Cousins Court. Dum-dum-dum. And we'll go into a jersey retrospective, looking back and ranking our favorite Orlando Magic jerseys. And we'll finish off with a little bit of a recap on where we stand in our playoff bracket and whose hair may be out of there. You like that rhyme there?
Pretty solid for not having it written in the pre-show. You just free flows like that. That's the freestyle.
That's the Bridgeport in me. All right, Peach. How are you doing today for the ROLO Check-In?
Well, today for the ROLO Check-In, I've again gone to Canva and thrown together a little beehive action. There's a lot of action behind Rolo here, as featured on the Knicks, wearing the blue and the orange there, and it is just there's a lot of activity going on for me right now. I was just in New York watching All Elite Wrestling this past week, which was awesome. Right. And I'm going to Buffalo next week for an ice rink convention. Yes, it's a real thing. Check my podcast for more on that in the coming future. And also, as you can see there in the upper left corner, moving. Short move, might not need a truck that big, but moving from your parents' house a couple blocks down, I'll be living right over there. I can see it from here. Pretty soon. So a lot of stuff going on. All pretty good stuff, though. Not complaining. Just sort of like, and there's going to be a little bit more of that. All right, where's this? Where's that? Is that over here? Is that over there? And, I'm looking forward to a week in Buffalo. It's going to be fun.
I'm excited to see your Peachcast on that coming out.
It's gonna be interesting if you're into ice rinks or curious about how people get into that.
Yeah. Huge ice rink guy.
I'm gonna try to interview a bunch of different people and show people what goes on at these conventions. It sounds made up, but it's a real thing, ladies and gentlemen. NARS, it's going to Buffalo, and I'll take everybody with me. We'll see. Have fun. How are you doing?
Well,
you recently traveled as well.
Yeah, I recently traveled Rolo as well. This is an Orlando Magic Rolo sipping the 3T. Mm-hmm. Not on the basketball court though, Peach. He's at a beautiful spot called Gem Lake in Colorado. Did this hike recently with my lady. It is gorgeous country out there, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not been out to the Rocky Mountains, try to put it on your bucket list. It is breathtaking. So I'm coming back feeling very humbled and chill and trying to take that calmness into the end of the academic year here as we finish up with school and also my grad school. I was going to go with that. However, this is really how I'm feeling. The next slide there for you, Peach, I have Robin Lopez in Hellfire because we are recording this in an attic. It is pungent spring right now. I'm making a lake, a man lake, definitely this show. It's hot up here.
It is definitely warmer up here than it usually is when we do a show. We've complained about cold in the past. Temperature is a factor up here. Which is something I'm going to add into my confusion. It's into the beehive.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get one of those air conditioners going and hopefully get this to be a nice area in the near future. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
We're also
AC
having some roofing done. There's a lot of activity going on outside.
It's hectic.
Yeah. It's adding to the heat.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. It also smells of gasoline, so we might be a little high by the end of this show. We'll see what happens. Could get weird. All right. Well. You also, ladies and gentlemen, love to get weird, and you get weird out there on those interwebs. And Peach and I try to look around. Sometimes you add us. That really helps. At @court_cousins on Twitter and Instagram and the TikToks, if you would like.
Yeah, man. Tag us and stuff, and then we'll see it. And
easier.
Then we'll put it in here. We'll give you credit, even if you just mention someone else's post.
Oh, that'd be so helpful. We're scouring, but we're having a good time. And we're going to start it nice and light, Peach. This is a family show after all. With some family fun from the official Orlando Magic Twitter and also Instagram. Warning, wholesome, sad eyes. Jalen Suggs and Robin Lopez take Walt Disney by storm. And just a couple photos here, a little montage of Suggs and Rolo. I mean, this has got to lift your heart, Peach. How you feeling?
It does. I saw the video. These gentlemen just went out and had a time. I don't know as though if it was Jalen's first time or it's probably could have been. Either way,
knows?
your first time with Rolo is probably something special.
Yeah.
And none of us have had that. So that would be pretty magical.
That's the ultimate tour guide.
To go with somebody even if you don't like something, like if you go with somebody who does really like that thing, it makes it a little better. You came to a wrestling show with me,
I was going to say
and
that.
you were kind of like, all right, I see what, but just to see the other person enjoy it that much, or to try to like be like, hey, like this part, or check this part out. So there's a lot of that going on there. You like to see the camaraderie between these two off the court. Again, we don't know if Rolo's coming back next year or not, but it doesn't matter. They're all friends, and he's going to keep going to Lopez is going to Disney.
Yeah.
He's going to Disney. So it's like, if you're going to go, you might as well go with him, because that'd probably be fun.
Man, that would be the ultimate tour guide. I can just imagine how sick that would be. And Robin Lopez is hooked up at Disney too. And they did some official video with Disney. It was kind of a little partnership thing. You got to figure Rolo knows all the secret chambers, all right, all the little nooks and crannies, the secret access. He's going to have a good time.
What's interesting here is that a lot of teams, including the Bucks, my secondary team, after winning the championship, usually you get to then go to Disney World. These guys came in next to last, and they're like, fuck it, we're going to Disney World anyway. So anyone can go. You don't need to win a title.
You don't even need to win. Screw it.
See that sponsorship? Come on.
Wow, we're super Disney. Yeah, let's go. Right from the bottom to the top. More camaraderie in the beginning of this show. This is a post from, again, Orlando Magic official with some quotes about how tight this team is from Cole Anthony. With us, we really do hang off the court. There is a selflessness. Everyone wants to see the person next to them succeed.
Yeah.
And then we have another heartwarming montage. I mean, it just feels kind of good to wrap up this season with what is really the brightest spot for me coming out of it. Losing this many games can derail a team, a veteran team, and especially a young squad who isn't used to losing. I think Jamal Mosley has really created the culture, and also the guys. Like they're all leaders too. They're young men. They're men.
Right.
They're being leaders themselves, and I think we have a lot of leaders on the team. Now, that's not a bad thing. Yes, we need an alpha scorer on the floor, but ideally we want a whole team of leaders of guys who are picking each other up, leading by example, helping each other on down days. That's what leaders do, and we've got a whole cast and crew of them.
Indeed, and even to further his point, you saw Cole and Wendell with Coach Mosley at one of the Mavericks playoff games. There you can see they're even hanging out with Coach off the court. So that's a good thing. And you know what? That's a good learning experience. They get to see the NBA. It makes them hungrier
Playoffs,
to be able to see that and to be around it. Obviously, I'm sure all these guys are watching the games on at least at home, but it's a different thing to then go there, get the atmosphere, and be like, we need this where we are. And there's two of our leaders with our coach taking it in, soaking it in, and trying to figure out how they can get the Magic to that level, and you love to see it. I'm glad. I hope they had a good time.
I'm happy Cole was there, because the next post is not so nice to Cole. We love him, but this one's from @NBA_university, putting forward some statistics that don't bode so well for Cole's year and potentially what's moving forward. They write, Cole Anthony had a particularly woeful efficiency this season. He also had very little off-ball movement and perimeter defensive success. Cole has shown incredible flashes of shot-making/playmaking and is only 21. Will he improve enough this summer to beat the six-man allegations? And some of the things that NBA University was grading him on, a whole bunch of things: effective field goal percentage in the 16th percentile, true shooting percentage in the 26th percentile of the league, points per shot, points possession. You can see it. It's on the board. But it doesn't look good, Peach. How are you feeling? Like, these are the statistics. Does the Peach eye test agree with these things? Or are you taking umbrage?
Okay, first of all, I'll say that, I do believe there is a case to be made for him being a sixth man on this team.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. That's a good thing, because that means that we have a talented enough team that he doesn't need to start. He doesn't need to throw up all the shots. For a while, a large portion of the beginning of this season, he was it.
Yeah.
If he was in the 20s, we had a chance to win. But if he wasn't, we didn't. and we didn't win a lot of games.
We
so,
didn't win a lot. That didn't work out.
I don't like to look at all these breakdowns of statistics. I feel like I love statistics. Don't get me wrong. Okay, I love the back of cards for years and looking at statistics and memorizing ones. But I like to memorize the key ones. I'm sick of all the new age ones they make up all the time and the war and war is just
what is it good for?
absolutely nothing. Which is about all of these are good for in my book. You can pretty much always find some categories that somebody does poorly in and make it look like they're absolute garbage. And if you just handed this slide to somebody, you'd think this guy is garbage and how is he even on an NBA team? So it's not really a good representation of who he is. And I feel like you shot back well on our behalf on Twitter. And to that, I'm reaching across for the handshake right now.
Thank you, Peach. It means a lot.
You know what? When we write on those things, it's usually just one of us doing the thing. But I read that and I was like, yeah, I would have wrote that.
Agreed.
Good job.
So what I wrote in reply to this was these stats don't capture heart of the team, leadership, hard work, or workout ball thrusting. Please revise.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that you very nicely asked them to think about revising. Now, this guy's got a job to do. He works at NBA University. He saw all these stats, and so he's just putting them forth. Yeah. People can do with them what they want. You know what I want to do with them? Meh.
Yeah.
I'm not ignoring them. I'm just saying, meh.
That's the problem with America these days. All these expensive private universities. This NBA University guy, gatekeeping people.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
He spent all that time putting all these stats together to prove nothing and change nothing. It's not like Coach Mosley's going to sit down and be like, oh, I didn't realize all this was going on. To the bench with you. He'll be our 10th man.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess the deeper question is we're talking about the sixth man. Some other folks in Orlando Magic Twitter, like Joshua West, I've seen him a bunch. He'll say that his defense did somewhat improve by the end of the year, but he's still the worst screen navigator of our guards, but the effort was better, and Suggs helps him be in the right places. Sneaky Takes says 6-man allegations isn't even trying to be disrespectful. That's just what would be the best that he would be the best at and would be one of the best in the league. Mm-hmm. I think that's a good point. Like, there's no slouch in being a 6-man of the year candidate.
Absolutely not. No, that's kind of what I was referencing at the beginning. Is I just feel like that's a good problem to have. And if he's the guy that runs our bench squad when they come out, I love that.
Yeah,
I'm for that. And then if somebody gets hurt, he slots into the beginning. Go at it. I think that's a good problem to have. I'm for it. Yeah, obviously there were some numbers of Coles that started to tail off as the season went on, but everybody's finding themselves. Everybody's figuring out where they fit in on this thing. I'm not worried, and things like this don't worry me. If these kind of stats show up for 3 years in a row and you're still starting, then it gets to be worrisome.
Right.
But
it's kind of been a couple years.
His
now,
second season.
Yeah.
In the NBA. Let's relax a little.
Yeah, I guess I have concerns. It
was a weird-ass season.
It was. Yeah, and he was people were in and out. He was in and out a little bit. I mean, it was a rotating cast. It was tough to navigate.
It was strange.
Yeah. Well, I got a question for you. What would you rather, because I think the post brings up a good point for me, is his off-the-ball movement. Mm-hmm. I don't see Cole kind of running off screens enough, being an off-the-ball threat. Would you prefer him kind of work on that a little bit this summer, or would you prefer just him focusing on ball handling and being our ball handler when he's in the game?
I'd rather see him be the ball handler, distributor, kind of like Fultz when Fultz isn't there kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think it's good for everybody to learn to move without the ball. That's one of the first things I learned when I got into basketball is it's like if you're on offense and you don't have the ball and you're not moving, you're doing nothing unless you're setting a screen. But even when you go to set a screen, you go to set the screen. So if you're just standing around the three-point line, you're not doing anything. I get that's a lot of the modern NBA is to just stand on the perimeter and wait till everybody sucks in and then be available to hit the three. But go ahead and feel free to cut. There's a lot of baskets to be had. Ask Franz Wagner.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
Just move. Find the open gaps. Don't just rely on your guy lagging off you. Actually make yourself available for cuts. Most of these teams in the NBA playoffs, and when they need big buckets, that's what they're doing. They're running plays. Guys are cutting. Sometimes the guy looks like he's going to pick, and he just cuts into the hole. There's a lot of ways you can get movements in the NBA. And so, if he's just being stagnant and passing the ball off and then just hanging out at the outside, shouldn't do that, but that kind of goes for every player. Everybody ought to look to cut and make themselves available to be a shooter and to be open and to do something valuable with the ball.
Peach wisdom. All right, last one. I think nope, I lied.
No,
we got plenty more. A lot of social media roundup this week. Thanks everyone for being so active out there and being so damn hilarious. If you're enjoying some of this, always throw us a like, a subscribe. Really helps get the message out, build that Orlando Magic community. So the next post is from our boy Jay at Magic Player History. He's been at Magic Player History, has been doing awesome kind of season recap, statistical breakdowns, showing where our current players rank up in some of the all-time Orlando Magic statistical categories. So if you haven't seen these posts, check them out. You can run through all of them. They're great.
Interesting, man. They're great. I mean, I would say the minute the season ended, a lot of people took a little bit of a sigh of relief, maybe a little bit of a break from the team or anything like that. No, Jay got in the trenches, went to work. I got a lot of numbers to crunch. I got a lot of graphics to make, and he's just been banging them out, and it's pretty great. I mean, I don't know if every team has one of these guys collecting this kind of information, putting it together. Luckily, we do.
Yeah. Thanks, Jay. We love you, Jay.
It's all the way over in Australia.
Yeah. So he writes, both Orlando Magic rookies excelled getting to the basket and drawing fouls during the past season, with both finishing in the top 10 in free throw percentage among rookies. Franz Boogie led all first-year players, knocking it down from the stripe at a percentage of 86.3%. So Franz, now on Magic Player History rookie leaders, this is most free throws made in a rookie season. Franz finds himself 6th with 189 makes, and Jalen Suggs finds himself 10th with 126 makes.
Pretty good.
Shaq's leading off that list. Then we have Dwight Howard at 2, Victor Oladipo, Anthony Hardaway, Corey Maggette. Then we have Franz, Nick Anderson, Michael Ainsley, Dennis Scott, and Jalen Suggs.
Corey Maggette brought him up last show. He comes up again. Look at him go. But yeah, you know what? This is a good list for Jalen Suggs to sneak in on the end on because he missed so much time.
That's true.
So it's really incredible that he ends up in the top 10 as well. And yeah, Franz, I think that number could have been higher at certain points if he would have been looking. They would have been looking to him a little bit more on offense. I think it took a while to get to the point where they realized he was as big an offensive weapon as he became. He could have easily been in the top 3 here. If they would have realized that sooner, but still neat, very cool to be on there. Yeah, the team's only been around since 1989, so not a huge long history, but still nice to be up there among all these names that are like, with the exception of maybe Michael Ainsley, all pretty respected NBA hoopers.
Definitely, man. I mean, I would agree with you. I kind of dove into some of the statistics a little bit, and what I think this bodes so well for is we're getting paint penetration. And that's something that I think is really important for making an NBA team move, getting that paint penetration, trying to get defenders to collapse, finding open shooters, or finding another cutter that's coming with an easy bucket. And I'm really excited about the future of this team because we've got a retinue of guys that have moves to get into the paint. I mean, we have now 2 good rookies, Franz and Jalen. They were 64th and 65th respectively in the league in terms of their drives per game at 9, just as rookies. And by the way, Fultz was 48th in the league with 10.5 drives per game, but that was on his limited minutes. I'm not like doing per game. It's not per 36 or anything.
We're keeping track of drives per game.
Yeah, that's a thing now, dude. That's a thing now. Well, I just think that it's an interesting statistic because normally drives per game also coincides with free throw attempts. And Franz is among rookies. Jalen was 3rd. I'm sorry. And Franz was 5th in terms of free throw attempts. So Jalen actually edged him out a little bit. But I think that bodes well for the potential star power of these guys. Because if you look at the NBA and we've been watching the playoffs, guys rack up points by having good efficiency, yes, but also by getting to the line.
Right.
And so that's why I really liked that Jay highlighted this for Magic Player History and why it makes me so excited about the future of the team. Because we have 2 rookies that were doing it really well. And, we have Markelle Fultz, who's slam dunk at it as well.
Right. And I think when you take a look at this and you look at those names, you realize all those guys, when they came in, were kind of given a green light. Not all rookies are.
Yeah.
But both these guys are given a green light. I mean,
That's
hell,
true.
Suggs was given the mic on opening night to address the fans. So, I mean,
Forgot about that.
from out the gate, they pretty much decided that you guys are going to be on the court a lot. Go ahead, feel free to shoot, feel free to drive. That's a freedom that rookies usually don't get until sometimes their second season.
That's
so
true.
they've already gotten that under their belt, which I think also bodes well for our future. And you talk about paint penetration. Man, I've been painting your parents' house for all morning. That's all I was doing was trying to get paint penetration, and I'm good at it. Thank God. I got to get down in the post, post up. You know, I'm always talking about the post up game, getting that Horace Grant vibe going. Paint penetration, kids. It's good on and off the court.
All right, Peach. Next slide. I want to go to this Chet Holmgren post from the Magic Man himself, Jeff Weltgod, Jeff_Weltgod. Thank you for your service. And this is a little bit of a meme with all these faces, these figures standing around this one unique figure, and they're saying, Chet, 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 whispering in this figure's ear. And this figure is saying, Paolo Banchero is the best player in the draft. And then he has a Magic hat on, and now he has become one of those whisperers.
Yep.
Chet Holmgren is the best player in this draft, almost as if he was brainwashed. He has this kind of numb look on his face afterward, Peach.
Yeah, that's
Is this going to be you right here?
Well, no, that's what he says in the bottom there. Is he's like, yeah, I'm hearing it so much from Magic fans that he's the best that I'm starting to believe it, and it's like, I'm not gonna. So unless somebody shows me some new footage that I'm missing that completely changes my mind, I don't want it. I really don't want Chet Holmgren on our team. I really don't. Like, I'm really worried that we're gonna somehow end up having to take him if we don't get like the number one pick, and like he's ends up being the most talented person they think on the board left. Like, just let this be somebody else's problem. He's gonna be.
Wow, I love bringing him up on the show. It's
he's
just,
not good.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is genuine. There is genuine disgust in the piece right now. There's uncomfortableness. This is real, all right? And I love bringing him up on the show.
There's been so many years I watch the draft, going in, and I'll watch the draft and be like, oh, that guy is not going to be that nice. Like, hopefully a team doesn't waste a top pick on him. And then they do, and then the guy's not nice. Like, it's not like this is my first time watching.
Yeah.
Like, he just doesn't fit the mold of somebody that I feel like could be a potential all-star or even a long-term starter.
Wow.
Depending on which team he ends up on, he's just going to fade into the background. Kristaps Porzingis might be a high-end potential here. I don't see it. I feel like there's potential of a lot of injuries. He's got to get his body up to NBA speed. He's just I'm not feeling it, man.
We're Paulo stands over here, yeah?
I mean,
Are you still with Paulo as number one?
I am with Paulo number one right now. I think if we get number one and can go one, I'd go with him.
Yeah.
And I'd be comfortable with.
I liked what we saw of him in the tournament, man. There was really some flashes of greatness. I saw some highlights of that from Chet, but it didn't look as just natural and it composed as Paulo.
Any of the top 5 or 6 guys that you're seeing, which is where we're going to be, we're even worst case scenario.
Yeah.
The only guy I don't like is Chet Holmgren. I think there's some guys that fit better for us than other guys, but the only guy I really don't like and don't want at all is Chet. Anybody else, I'll be like, all right, here we go. Let's see how this works. Now, there's some guys that fit better that I'd rather have, obviously. Yeah. But that's the only one I don't want.
Part of the dark side of me really hopes that we draft Chet just to see how that would impact you. Because I actually think he's going to be a much better player than you do. I think he's going to be a good NBA player.
I mean, maybe he will be. I'm not like trying to I don't want to purposefully hold him down. I'm just looking at the future of our team.
I know.
I have our interests at heart, and I don't want us to be the ones that are like, oh, he's out with an ankle injury again, or like, oh, he's not hitting the outside shot now. What's he going to do for us? Like, where's he fit? What's he going to do? Like, who can he guard? Like, I don't want to be the people asking that question. I just want that to be somebody else's problem.
Well, speaking of the draft, we're really hoping to get picked very high, that number one pick, please, little baby Jesus.
Yes.
And you have some other draft news, Peach, to explain.
If you want to know some good juju for our squad, my hockey squad, the Montreal Canadiens, They won the number 1 overall pick in the recent draft lottery that they're actually hosting in Montreal, as a matter of fact, too. So that's going to be pretty awesome for them. So hoping that the Magic can also get that one, because for the past year, people have been talking about bad franchises and teams that are really bad right now, and the Canadians and Magic logos are always hanging out there. And I'm like, man, the Canadians were just in the final last year, but they're really stinking this year. But hey, number 1 pick now. Let's see it happen for the Magic too. And let's cash in. Let's get some of this stuff. You know, there are some benefits to us not getting the number 1 pick that I don't think everyone is not thinking about.
I'm definitely not thinking about it. Tell me.
Well, I'll tell you.
Me, please.
When you get the number 1 pick, you have to pay that guy more.
Okay.
Right? So, like,
yeah.
You know, if we get number 1 and we go Paulo, then we're pretty happy with it and we'll just pay him and it's all good.
Yeah.
But there's a good chance we get a really good player at 2, 3, 4. You know what I mean? And pay a little less for him.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
But then when we start to move, if we're down a little bit, that's when I get worried that, like, they're going to settle for Chet if 3 other people go.
That's kind of what the Suns are getting into right now, right? They picked DeAndre in very high. What was he, number 2? And now they're 1. And now they're like, ooh, the max extension. That's
right.
It's a lot of money for the number 1 pick.
Right. And that's the thing that you take on when you get the number 1 pick. But usually when you get the number 1 pick, you're getting a stud. You're getting a bona fide all-star, face of your franchise kind of guy. There's some good players in this draft, but you don't see that LeBron or that, like, you know, really generational talent so far. But maybe one of them will rise to be it. I don't know. But that'd be the one benefit of not getting the number 1 pick, is that you'll be able to get this player a little cheaper down the road. Because we got a lot of young guys on our team. We're going to have to start paying some people at some point.
Yeah, that's coming. That's on the horizon, everybody. We all know it's here, but we're just kind of like covering our eyes.
But let's win first.
See no evil, speak
and worry
no
about
evil,
the money stuff later.
Yeah, right. Well, you're doing a lot of traveling. I've been doing some traveling. Peace, you going to be in Princeton, New Jersey anytime soon? I think I have an event that we can go to.
Well, I'm down.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like it's probably far.
No, it's close. We can go.
Yeah, New Jersey's close.
It's Devin Kennedy's kids camp.
Oh, it's a kids camp?
It's a basketball. It's a kids camp.
It's kids camp.
Damn. We're kind of like big kids.
We should have an adult. Yeah.
Look at all these toys that we have.
It's true.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to work. They may want to see ID.
That's weird.
And if you have ID, then you can't get in the camp.
Damn it, trick question. Let me see your ID, sir. Oh.
Think about an adult camp, Devin. Let's go.
Yeah. We'll be there. First in line for the adult camp. All right.
Adult camp sounds like something that is different.
They're really going to town on the roof now. I wonder how much of that's coming through. Can you hear it at home, people?
That's the sound of progress.
Yeah.
Think of it as the magic building.
Yes.
This is the sound.
All the building sounds.
Construction.
Yes. The foundation is being laid.
Well, even though it's technically the roof. Ding ding ding. Ding ding ding. Ding ding ding.
Calling this court to order, ladies and gentlemen. Now presiding are the Right Honorable Jason the Peach and the Right Honorable Kyle the Red Lettuce. Cousins Court is in session. Our first trial that we are hearing today is the case between Ja Morant and the Grizzlies and Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole, our defendant, is accused of maliciously hurting Ja Morant. Is he guilty of the charges, Right Honorable Peach?
You know, this situation is just bananas. There's a lot of fun little stories from the playoffs, and we'll get to some of those today. But in this particular case, this is just a frustrated Ja Morant who hurts his ankle and then looks back at what happened and sees a man's hand like on his leg, but Jordan Poole didn't do anything here. He's not trying to hurt him like that. There's too many cameras at an NBA arena now. Like, guys aren't going to do that kind of stuff. That wouldn't be a good look. Jordan Poole's a good young player, talented player. There's no way he did this on purpose in my book. It seems like they may have squashed this beef, but it still stinks that Ja Morant's not there, although they didn't need him in Game 5.
That is true. Jordan Poole, not guilty. This was just so overblown by the Grizzlies. I get it that the playoffs tensions are high. This is your star player, and you want to go for your guys. But, you know, this is kind of what Memphis built their culture on. All the smoke, right? You guys want all the smoke. So here it is. And it wasn't even any smoke. You thought it was smoke, and you called fire and there wasn't any. And that's awkward. Like, if you want all the smoke, you got to be okay with guys coming at you.
Yeah.
And they didn't. And still, you accuse them of it. I love the interview of Taylor Jenkins that we watched before filming this, where the reporter must have been a Golden State guy, or maybe just a really neutral, good reporter, was grilling Taylor Jenkins, the coach of the Grizzlies, on whether he believed that the foul was intentional. And Taylor Jenkins just backing out of the question. His body language clearly showed that he did believe that. And he was saying it with everything except, oh, go look at I'll just look at the footage. Go look at the footage.
Right.
And it's like, man, it was a bad look.
Yeah. So far, the thing I've learned most from this incident is that the Grizzlies aren't ready to be champions yet. They're not carrying themselves with the demeanor of it, and they're crying foul, and they're wondering. There's a lot of whining and complaining, and it's like,
wow.
You're the number 2 seed, arguably one of the best teams in the NBA, should be able to compete for a championship, but there's that little championship pedigree thing that they're kind of missing, a little bit of a class, if you will, that they just don't quite have yet. But that's okay. That's why you go to the playoffs and you lose a few times. You take your lumps and you learn, and then you come back stronger.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing right now, and that's totally fine, because if the Warriors don't get them, then the Suns will get them, or maybe the Mavs.
All right, next, our next trial before us in Cousins Court is Chris Paul accusing Mavs kid of accosting his family. Is this young Mavs privileged youth guilty or not guilty? So the statement that was released was, quote unquote, American Airlines Center and Dallas Mavericks security and executives have concluded the investigation into the incident involving the Paul family. 2 unruly fans attempted to give unwanted hugs and have conversations with members of the Paul family on the public concourse of American Airlines Center. The team said in a statement, quote, AAC security responded immediately once notified by the family, and fans were swiftly ejected from the game. The fans involved in the incident will not be allowed to return to the arena until 2023. Peesh, is the Mavs privileged youth guilty or not guilty? What do you think?
Yeah, he's guilty, and it sounds like the guys are back on your roof. So if people are pounding behind us, it just is what it is, people. I don't know why. I mean, you got that spot already. Anyway, yeah, he's definitely guilty here. You don't go around hugging people in general, regardless of who they are, that don't want hugs.
Right.
Even if it's somebody you know or an acquaintance. So to do it to someone who's there rooting for the other team because they're related to a player on the other team, I'm guessing this is the very polite version of what happened here. I don't think it went down as coolly as they explain it. So I'm calling BS. This kid needs to realize that you can't just do that kind of stuff. And whatever the penalty is, it is. And if they're only going to keep him out of the arena for a year, he is paying a very low fee. Some places would keep you out way longer.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, it's just a kid being a kid, but that's not an excuse that should just be allowed.
Right.
And I even though I don't like that Chris Paul took the moment to talk shit to the kid,
yeah,
I love that he did.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to take that. Plus, I think it was on Mother's Day. I mean, you can't be messing with a guy's mom on Mother's Day like that. And I like that he stood up and basically held him accountable. And I know that kid's going to remember this moment for the rest of his life. Hopefully, he remembers it in a negative way.
Forget it.
Yeah, but I think that's the reaction that you want when you do so. Because I've gone and I've heckled players and teams at games and stuff like that. And if they interact with you, you're getting to them. But this is a little bit different, man. This is hands on your people, and it's sort of like it's not excusable. And he can't run up there and physically do something about it for a couple of reasons.
Yeah.
But it's like I said to you, I think this situation would be really spicy and really different. What if that had been a young female fan that was doing it? Would Chris Paul have said the same thing?
Well, that's an interesting question. You said this is, very kind of nicely worded, and I am curious about exactly what went down because, I mean, it doesn't on the face of this statement seem like anything crazy. They attempted to give unwanted hugs. Okay, yes, you can't do that. And have conversations with them? Like, it was a kid, right? So was he drunk? Because when I thought that, I immediately thought like 2 drunk assholes being, really obnoxious, really threatening.
Right.
And then I see like a kid.
Right. And
I'm like, well, yeah. Teenage boys are probably the shittiest person on the planet. A 15-year-old boy is probably the shittiest human that exists.
Right.
So he was probably being a piece of crap. So he definitely deserved to get ejected. I'll go with guilty. I do find it crazy though that everyone like Chris Paul's getting off with talking, saying he wants this kid to meet him after. He's essentially threatening assault to a minor. And everyone's like,
well, that's why I brought up the whole gender thing, because I feel like if that was a female and he makes that comment, now everyone hates Chris Paul as a human being. Yeah. But because it was a boy, everyone's like, 15-year-old boys are shit, like you said. So, yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah. And I think we're all kind of cool with it because of that. But I'm fine with it because he's not actually going to do anything to him.
Did Chris Paul get fined for this?
He did.
He did.
Yep.
Okay.
By the league.
All right. Interesting. I wonder if they would just be like, yeah, that's...
I think that was their way of, we got it.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
They all want to move on. I'm fine with them moving on, but the kid's guilty.
I mean, if this kid, if the Suns lose this series and Chris Paul has another crap game like he had, this kid could be a legend in Dallas.
Not until 2023. Maybe outside on the plaza.
All right. Our next case before the Right Honorable Peach and the Right Honorable Kyle Red Lettuce. The NBA is creating an East and West Conference Finals MVPs, the Magic Johnson and Larry Bird trophies. Is the NBA pandering by creating these conference Finals MVPs? Peach.
Well, quite simply, yes, but I'm cool with this one.
Okay.
Because a lot of times you'll see franchises, then ours is one, where our biggest highlights have been making it to the NBA Finals, not what happens at the NBA Finals. So it would have been interesting to see if we had, Shaq winning the Larry Bird trophy for the Eastern Conference and the Magic Johnson for Western Conference, respectively. But I think it's another nice piece of hardware that guys can add, because sometimes you just get a star that steps up in the finals and plays really well, and they win the MVP, and that's all good. But let's recognize those first 3 rounds. Yeah. It takes 3 rounds to get to the NBA Finals. That's no small feat.
That's a fair point.
Let's go ahead and say, hey, whoever your best player is, let's give him a trophy. I'm fine with this, but let's not start giving these out every round. And that's the slippery slope that we're facing, because that will be too far. But I'm totally fine with this. What do you think?
Peach, the NBA is guilty. They're definitely pandering. I mean, we're trying to. You said it. You said it, but then you kind of reversed it. They are, they're opening up. They're giving everyone a little taste. They're giving everyone a little something. We opened up the playoffs. Now more teams can feel like they're in it. Mm-hmm. We're offering new trophies so every team can kind of highlight their stars and build the cult of stardom that we have around basketball and in the United States. And, it's just another opportunity to build up the profiles of these players. And I think the NBA has done that phenomenally. The NBA has really capitalized on how dynamic some of their stars are, and it's become a really star-driven league. You hear often how people follow players now and not teams, whatever that is. What's that? Gen Z, I'm talking to you. What's that all about? Let's cut that out.
I'll tell you what that's about, but that's a sidebar, so stay on.
That's the old. We'll get off. Hold on. I'll get off the porch. We're in the courtroom, not on the porch right now. But yeah, so they're guilty of pandering, but for a good reason. They're trying to continue to build the profile of the sport, build up the stars, give all types of markets something to celebrate. And if they give a banner for the conference finals, they should give a trophy.
They do.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
They do.
The last case before the Cousins Court. Embiid is accusing NBA of giving away the MVP based on the narrative. Peach, is the NBA guilty or not guilty of this crime?
Yeah, they are. And you know what? First of all, let me just say that I used to really not care for Embiid, but I've grown to respect him quite a bit over the course of this season, even up until their very final moments where you could see this guy is not 100%. He's out there on the court giving it his all and trying to do whatever he could to keep his team in this game, but he just wasn't getting enough help from around him. But that aside, I don't know if he was the MVP this year, but they definitely give the MVP away based on a narrative. At certain points, they just decide, we've given it to LeBron too many times. Because the MVP of the NBA this year is Giannis Antetokounmpo still. He's still the best player. Sorry, people, but he is. Okay. If you want to say Jokic is good, I agree. He's a very great player. But I don't see him lifting he can't take a team on his back and go even out of the first round. So, like, to me,
Fair.
Giannis is still the best player. But for a lot of years, LeBron was the best player, and they didn't give it to him either. They spread it around. And, they did that a little bit with, in Jordan's era and some of those guys' era, too, where they just seems like they spread
Can't
it
give it
around.
to Jordan every year.
Yeah, they can't give it to Jordan every year. So Karl Malone's winning one. They just spread it around a little. Yeah, there's a little bit of that going on here. I don't know as though that's going on in this case, because I think if the NBA was basing it around a narrative, they would have wanted Embiid to have the MVP.
Yeah,
because this is he's from another country. This is another market. This is spreading the love around and having more MVPs and more stars in your game versus going right to Jokic. But I really do think it's just based on their votes.
Wanting
and
Jokic?
that's the way the votes go. I don't necessarily think they wanted Jokic this time. Maybe they wanted him to get one, but he got one.
So you're saying they're not guilty, that they didn't give it to Jokic based on a narrative?
I'm saying they're not guilty in this case, but they have done this before.
Got it.
So in this particular case, they would be not guilty.
Well, what is that, like double jeopardy? You can't be tried for the same crime twice?
Well, we didn't try the other ones. We're only trying this one.
That's right. This is the first case before the Cousins Court NBA. You're lucky. They're not guilty of this crime. Not guilty. There's, again, your point. The narrative is for Embiid doing it. So that's kind of a silly argument. Maybe we're overplaying this a little bit. Embiid said, quote, obviously, congrats to Nikola. He deserved it. He had an amazing season. There's no right or wrong. There were a lot of candidates. It could have gone either way. Giannis, Devin Booker being on the best team in the league by far. So I guess every year is about whatever you guys decide, whatever fits the narrative as far as who's going to win. I'm sorry, Joel Embiid. Jokic was the MVP this year.
And he did later go back and say, he's a good player.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, I mean, that
There's
statement was
context
kind
to
of
it.
taken out of context.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like he was just throwing shade at Jokic. He understands he's a great player. And I'm not trying to shade him either, because I think he's a great player. Point center. He's impressive. His skill set is impressive.
He assisted on 38.8% of his team's buckets. That's pretty much 40% of all of the buckets.
Sure.
He assisted them. I
He's
mean,
special.
almost half
He's
of
special.
– and this is a center. He's the first NBA player to record 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and 500 assists in a year.
Right.
That's monumental. He led the league.
And obviously that's good for the narrative. So I think that's the point that Embiid is making, is that here's this guy who's been record setter. So you slap the MVP logo and you call it good. And it's hard to argue it.
Right. Yeah.
He's a great player, and he put up sick numbers.
Historically
that's how
great
it goes.
player, yes.
That's how that goes.
But, Embiid stick around. Maybe next year's his year. Because now Giannis has won a couple. Jokic has won a couple.
If he's healthy and he can play a whole thing, he's
can
definitely
play.
in the queue.
Yeah. He's one that the narrative is building for, shall we say.
Indeed.
All right, everybody. Now we're going into a little bit of off-season content, Pish. It's the thin years, the thin days before the draft lottery, and then leading up to the draft will be madness, I'm sure, for us. But right now, we're going to do something we did on our second episode that was never released. A little bit of evergreen content. I love that. We're going to rank all-time Orlando Magic jerseys, starting at the start and coming all the way to present day. So we're going to give them ratings. We're going to
This is important to me big time, because, I mean, as we learned from Jay, who we talked about earlier, he based his whole liking for the Orlando Magic based on those jerseys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those jerseys were pretty fly back in the day. It wasn't hard to try to get on this bandwagon when a new team comes out and you like the way their threads look. So jerseys matter, because I'm telling you right now, like, I look at the Mavs jerseys they're wearing in the playoffs, they're garbage.
Yeah.
And I like Luka, and I might rock one. But not one of those, because they didn't put any effort into their jerseys. So jerseys are important. Also see Minnesota Timberwolves, but we've talked about that before.
We'll start at the beginning. The 89 jerseys, the inaugural jerseys, the white pinstripes at home with Magic on them, the black classic pinstripes away with Orlando on them. What are you giving these, Peach? Let's not make this silly.
I mean, these things are where it's at, bro.
Yeah.
This is the one that sets it all off. Some people didn't care for the font of the numbers, and there are certain numbers that look a little strange, like that 9 does look a little strange if you want to get real nitpicky.
I guess.
But sometimes, like if you're PSA grading a card, you got to get really nitpicky about every little single thing on there. And so for me, it would have to be sometimes that number font looks weird on a certain number. But overall, I love these jerseys. They're my favorites.
Yeah. Why are we wasting
A+,
time? 10 out of
thumbs up.
10.
I don't know. What are you
I
doing?
mean,
Numbers?
they made Jay a fan of the Orlando Magic.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
other than that, I mean,
They're worth their weight.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
gold. They're amazing.
they gave us a national treasure,
Absolutely.
an Australian treasure.
And then 5 years down the road, we make the blue ones,
Yep.
which are somehow even better than the black and white
They're like,
ones. Unbelievable.
let's make it
Whoa.
blue. And
This
they're
was
like, genius.
Probably one of the first alternate jerseys or third jerseys of any of my teams that I was like, must have.
Yeah, this is
Like
your
this
favorite,
thing
right?
was amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of our fans voted this as the favorite earlier this year when we
That's
ran
true.
a contest.
Yep.
It was sort of like some version of either the blue, the black, or the white one. But the blue and the black were by far and ahead
Yeah.
the winners on this one. And what a great addition this thing was.
So next we go to the 98 to 2000. This is kind of, I guess this is before. Actually, it goes to 2003. These jerseys, some of them, and these are the ones that I know T-Mac played in. That's the jersey I have of this. They're the kind of faded stars on the jersey, all magic with a fat star for the A. You know, I like these a lot. I give these an 8 out of 10. I
Wow.
really like the stars coming in and out. I think that's a cool pattern that not a lot of people see or notice sometimes.
Yeah.
And however, the only gripe here is a big gripe that I know you'll approve of. They're all magic. There was no Orlando in this set.
Absolutely.
So if you're
Yes.
away, you got to rep your city, as Jalen Suggs would say.
Right. Yep.
And we weren't doing that during
Right.
this period, I guess.
Yeah, I did mention this on the show that we never aired, but to me, your road jersey should always say the city or the town, wherever you're from, and
Makes a
then
lot of sense.
and then you put your team name on your home jerseys.
Right.
That's the sort of a base. So yeah, it would have been better if that blue one would have been better if it would have said Orlando in my book. That pattern on the jersey, that was kind of a style back then. Like everybody was trying to put like a little wave in there. A lot of the college jerseys were doing that. It was like kind of a theme. Every once in a while, jerseys will hit a theme. Like I remember hockey jerseys in like the early 90s got really cartoonish because like that was the way things were going, and then the Mighty Ducks joined the league, and it was like things got bananas for a
is
while.
this a cartoon?
And this was like a style of jersey that fit that time period, but this is a huge step back from the ones that we had beforehand.
fair.
They got rid of the pinstripes, and like you said, there's no Orlando written on there, but the font of the number is probably the only thing that is strong. It's decent, but the stars popping like on the jersey you have of T-Mac, it is a lot more impressive when you see it up close in person than you would see it on TV. But for me, these are kind of a swing and a miss. These are just like, we need a blue and a white jersey for our team. Yeah, just put magic on and just go.
It's good.
Like
Good.
there wasn't a lot of thought put into these. I think they felt like they could just sell jerseys no matter what they did at that point. They're like, just go.
Well, if you feel that way about those, then
Yeah.
you must be feeling the same about this. I mean, this is the Dwight Howard years. This is when we were buying jerseys.
Oh, I have a lot of these.
Yeah, this is 03 to 08 at first. Just literally what you said, slap Magic and Orlando on a jersey,
Right.
but make the font look like a computer did it
Yeah.
and sell them.
I mean, they had the star on the
had the
collar,
neck,
which
yeah.
is nice.
Okay.
But that's about all it had for personality.
Yeah.
And just two stripes down the side. There really wasn't much going on here. Even the font is very basic. These are very mailed in, and probably some of my least favorite style that we wore regularly.
It is my least favorite,
It's-
yeah. I give it a 6.
I mean, this is a thumbs down for me.
Thumbs down for Peach. Next one, I mean, it's pretty much a similar jersey. This is from 2008 and then to 2017 as they introduce more variants of this.
Right.
This is pretty much the same mechanical font as the previous jerseys, but they do have a pinstripe. Yeah, that's a man who sells ices. If you want to go out there, there's a little horn that's happening. Peach is very distracted out the window.
Man.
Yeah.
What's he doing?
The man is trying to hustle ices. You can't be mad at him, all right?
Get an ice cream truck. Let's go, man.
You got to start somewhere, Peach. Look at us. We're in a freaking attic. We have no AC.
That's true.
It's really our fault. But these jerseys, just they added the fluted pinstripes on them, which gives something a nod to the original jersey.
Yeah.
I gave these an 8.5 because of the memories, not because of the jersey.
Okay.
The jersey is rather crap, but because this is when I was in Boston, Dwight Howard, we were
Right.
killing it. I was going to a lot of games there, had a lot of good times during those, as I'm sure many of you out there did. So this is more a nostalgia pick for me.
This was a step back in the right direction, but by changing the fonts and adding the pinstripes back, but I never liked the fact that the pinstripes veered off at the top.
Right, I knew you were going to
always just thought that was a really strange look. It just looks awkward on the jersey. For me, I'm a big fan of piping. I like the piping around the neck and the piping around the shoulders, and we don't have any piping on the shoulders of these. Like, I just feel like that's what a jersey looks like to me. It's just the rings and there, and then you can add some designs and have some fun with it. But they didn't. They just were like, we don't need any piping there. Just have the tail off and it'll be fine. But these are better than the two prior ones, so much so that it probably was like, oh my God, like when those came out, I was like, oh good, we finally got a jersey that at least is fun, is something fun about it. It was like, I have several of these. I have one of every color, I believe. And it's a step back in the right direction for sure. So I liked where we were going.
And then we added sleeves.
And then everyone added sleeves for a while. This is another one of those ones where
was a weird
everybody
movement.
decided they were adding sleeves for a while, so that's what we're doing.
That was odd.
Sleeves are, if you want sleeves, you wear them yourself under your jersey.
Right, that's an accessory. You can do that if you want.
Just include it.
Right. That was odd. Don't know why they don't do that. I just said no more, please. I just didn't even rank this one.
That said, the gray or silver, if you want, like version of this jersey, is not bad.
With the blue, not piping.
It's
Yeah,
piping.
Yeah, you like the piping.
For some reason, they put sleeves on it, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, but we got to add piping where
it wouldn't have
where the sleeve." It's like, but it doesn't need to be there. What are we doing? So yeah, if you cut those sleeves off just like that before you go out, that would be our best jersey of that era.
And then this is the
and there was a version like that was L Magic as well, right? Wasn't it also a silver one?
Yeah, I'm not 100% on that. I
feel like it was. Either way, look, I don't understand the Los and the L before the teams. I get that it's Spanish Heritage Night, and I'm all for that. But I just don't get it because I know that L means the and Los means the, and we don't have the Spurs written on the jersey. True. So don't write Los Spurs on there. That doesn't make it Spanish. What? I mean, I'm sorry.
That's a great thing.
I don't get it. Like, there's other things you could do to represent that. You could make make a patch or something and put it on the actual jersey. Yeah. Versus like putting L or Los there. It feels like this weird catering. Thing
pandering.
That, like, wouldn't
Guilty.
I mean, if they were gonna have a French night, they wouldn't write Le Magic, like, right?
Well, with Evan gone,
weird.
We lost our opportunity for that. With Evan gone, so no more Nuit Française. Next one. This was a horrible trend again going on around the league. The kind of stripe with the logo in the middle. This is beach attire for me. This is a volleyball shirt, perhaps, whatever they call a volleyball jersey. Yep. This is something that you might run into a guy named Chad wearing with salmon shorts at an Kegs and Eggs or something like that.
Wow.
This is not a basketball court jersey. This is something else, and people should not have worn this on the basketball jersey. I gave this a 2 out of 10.
Yeah, this one is not great, but I actually don't super hate it because all the teams are doing it. And again, it was the theme of the league at that point. They were just basically trying to get the logo on the front of the basketball jersey, which on a lot, it's not.
That's true.
So I get what they were doing. It's a swing and a miss, but
everybody do this.
They do get some positive points for trying, I guess.
All right. Okay, so now we're going into the 17 jerseys, not 17 to present. 17 jerseys. They were pretty much the same as the 08 to 10 jerseys.
Right.
But, and you're going to like this.
They fixed the pinstripes. Yeah.
They fixed the pinstripes. Yeah. They're straight, like a pinstripe should be.
Sure.
So, Peach, how are you rating these? Is this what the last ones get? You got to kick it up a notch?
Well, these definitely are better, and they also, on the black jersey, got rid of the blue on the side and went just to black on the side. Mm-hmm. So I think that was a good change. Yeah, they're good. I like our current jerseys are pretty good. I mean, they're obviously not as good as the originals in my book, but I mean, I like all of those. They, by fixing those pinstripes, kind of fixed what I didn't like about the other one. They made enough changes for me to be like, all right, these are good. I mean, they're a 7 out of 10, I guess, if you want to do a out of 10 thing. If you're painting me into that corner.
Yeah, I mean, I would never presume to do that to you, Peach. You can fly like a bird, however you would like.
You know how I am in the paint.
That's true, and I do know you like to color between the lines. So yeah, I mean, I'll give these If I gave the other ones an 8.5 out of 10, I'll give these a 7.5 out of 10, a C.
Okay.
And they are better than the previous ones, but I don't have any memories of us winning Eastern Conference championships in these jerseys. Yet, that's true. Although we're hoping that, with the poll that came out from Orlando Magic, that maybe we have some changes coming in the near future to the jerseys.
Now they're doing some sort of vacuum or something out there. This is fun.
Roofing was so
We should have got these guys on the show. So then we got that City Edition jersey.
Right.
This one. We'll get to the orange ones in a second.
Yeah.
I know you're all salivating.
Oh, I'm getting ready for that.
But that City Edition jersey that looked like space, I don't know
Yeah.
if they used that one on Star Wars Night specifically, but man, I kind of like this one. This one won me over the years.
You know how there's the vibe that this one gives me? It's like, hey, what's up, Cherry? I love your jersey, bro. Pass the LSD. That's like so sick.
Okay. I've never been in one of those situations, so I wouldn't know what that's like.
I haven't either, but I'm just saying I hypothesized that that's what it would be like. There'd be some hippie I was trying to think of a weird name, and all I came out with was Cherry. Maybe like Dakota, or like just call him Ranch, something along those lines. It's like, yo, bro, like, pass the ganja. There's like a universe on your jersey. Crazy.
As I say, I never associate hippies with basketball unless it's the Grateful Dead in '96 or the great Bill Walton.
This is true. A great hippie to play the great game that we love. So now we'll get into the City Editions that we've had recently.
Yes, the orange. The orange takes over.
So first we had Oral, which was the very mechanic, just all gray, orange Oral.
Yeah, man, this is a very awkward jersey, I think.
Yeah, not a fan.
It wasn't like they took our regular jersey and just made things orange. They like designed this whole weird, the stripe going across on the shorts is jarring from the side stripe, which is also solid. Yeah. And that ORL didn't really even look like it matched our font. It looked different. Something about it. And it's just like, who's this for? I don't. Swing and a miss here.
Yeah, it's a no for me, dog.
Yeah. Strike one.
Yeah, that's what we'll rank that one. One strike. Next was Orla, which doesn't make any sense, as you pointed out before. Now, they did go back to the original font.
Right, which is
and
good.
We love that.
We do love that.
And they have a pinstripe, but it's fluted.
They also went back to the original kind of style of number, which is nice.
Yeah.
And they also got the pinstripes on there in the white. So this is better.
Yeah.
This is definitely better than the other one, but it's still not like I don't own one.
Right.
So, like, if I don't own one, I mean, maybe if I find one on sale at one point, maybe I'd get one, but...
gun to your head, what are you rating this on the Roy G. Biv scale?
Roy G. Biv?
Yeah.
That would be red, green, blue, orange.
Yeah,
okay,
indigo, violet, I think. I don't know
what's the best one.
I don't know.
Is that like the terror meter where it's
exactly. What's the range? We're in orange.
No, this one's very docile.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
It's a good.
No, it can't even get to the orange, despite that being the theme here. But it's all right, but still strike two.
Okay, strike two.
You looked at one that was close, but it nipped the corner.
Ooh.
See.
Getting your umpire voice ready. I like it, Peach. And the most recent one is this year's City Edition with the stripes that have the why not us, why not now. The side panel, which I really do like. I like the side panel running all the way down the jersey. I dig that. And the classic magic on the front. I like this, except I don't really love the words and the stripes. I'm not a huge fan of that.
Yeah, I don't care for the words on the stripes. I think that's the only miss on this. Yeah. Also, not a super fan of that font of the number with that, but I get that they're trying to combine all of the jerseys because that was, again, the theme this year was everyone's trying to take a piece of some jersey they've had and put it together. But that side panel running down to the ball and the shorts is... Ooh, does that really nail it home? Finally, after a third try, they got orange right.
Single, double?
I mean, it's almost a home. I'm going to call it a home run, man.
No.
Yeah, it's not a moonshot or anything.
Okay.
But this one's out of the park. I mean, I have
homer.
two of these bad boys over there, including the shorts to match. I mean, we got all in on these bad boys fast, and they wore them while we were there.
Yeah.
It's hard not to get in on it, and it's it's a fun jersey that I think they may keep around. I feel like they might rock this thing going forward because it's the first year of Suggs and Wagner, and just a fun time when we're on the way up. And the why not us, why not now? It could be us
next year.
Within the next 4 or 5 years, it could be us. So.
Yeah, just edit the writing. Why not us? Why not now? Within the next 3 to 5 years.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm like a double. I'm like a solid double in the hole. I'm taking a wide turn at second.
Yep.
Just in case to see how the outfielder. See where the throw goes. Does he handle it cleanly? If he doesn't, I might go to 3.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's sound.
Yeah.
I mean, either way, you're in scoring position. So.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the last quick segment of the show. We've got to catch up on our playoff bracket. We've had a little bit of movement since we last recorded this. Good news for me right now, Peesh. Good news for me. I was really afraid that the Celtics were just going to put away the Bucks. But they've given me life, and I know that's not a big deal. What's big for me is the Heat beating the 76ers.
Yeah, that evened us back up after you had picked Utah and Minnesota in the first round.
Yep.
I had a 2-point lead, but now, since the second round is worth 2 points, boom, we're back to being even. And, this could come down to the Western Conference Finals if the Suns play the Warriors. And I say if because these series are not over yet. Game 7 coming up with Phoenix and Dallas, which has been a better series than I think a lot of people thought it was going to be. I've been really enjoying the playoffs so far. A lot of great games. There's been a few blowouts here and there too, but man, I'm just really enjoying watching basketball and watching these teams fight down. And there is a certain amount of me watching this that realizes that we don't belong in this playoffs.
Yeah.
We can't play with those teams. But those are a lot of the teams that during the year when I was doing what I learned, I would say we'd get blown out by a team and be like, yeah, this is a team we can't compete with right now. They're just the top 4 team in the conference. We shouldn't really be competing with them. And now we're getting to see those teams compete at a high level. And it's fun. It's fun to think about our guys getting to that level where they can handle the pressure of a playoff series like this. And it's really great. It's awesome.
Yeah, which team in there right now do you think we're most kind of like at this moment? Would it be – I mean, Miami seems to be the most balanced team. They don't have a huge guy right now, and that's kind of – it seems like what
it's weird.
Yeah, it's working for them. I mean, I know that Weltman and Hammond were the architects of pretty much the current Bucks team.
Right.
But we don't have a Giannis or anything like that yet.
Right. But the Bucks are without Middleton, and they're finding a way because Drew Holiday is playing at a ridiculous level.
Yeah.
I think I gave Miami a little less credit than I needed to, and I feel like that could come back to bite me because Miami is playing really well, and they have a lot of – I mean, Max Strus has stepped up to become like a legit starter for them and just playing huge minutes and doing everything. That's about the only team I think I underestimated at this point. I feel like Golden State had a stinker in Game 5, but I did feel like they were going to beat Memphis. So, I mean, we both had Phoenix playing Golden State, but you have Golden State winning and I have Phoenix winning. So that could be where –
that's a decider probably.
That'd really be where things –
and that will decide if the red lettuce goes or that beautiful beard of Peach goes. And I'm anxious, man. I'm anxious. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Legit,
I almost can't watch the games.
This is not even like something he's making up for the show.
No.
He legit talks to me, but he's like, I am nervous.
I don't know if I can do it.
I'm worried.
I don't know if I can do
it.
Yeah, I don't know if I lose. Can I really shave my head? I'm scared. It's so much a part of my identity, the lettuce.
Tell me about it, man. If I get rid of this thing, I'm going to look so like a young, and people won't take me seriously at work. They won't respect me.
Our therapists are going to be working overtime for sure.
So you could wear a hat and just cover up what's going on up there until yours goes back, but you can't wear anything over this face.
Just
it's not mask time anymore.
Go super liberal and just wear the mask all the time, man.
Pass.
I got to protect everyone.
Hard pass.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, thanks for hanging out with us for this much time. Love ya. Please like and subscribe to spread the word to others in the community. Shout out to our second cousins on Patreon, Gloria, Damien, and Connor. Thank you for supporting what we do. Check out our eBay for our Card Cousins stuff, and we have more things coming out on our Card Cousins channel if you're into card collecting. And
check out Court Cousins is the name of the eBay, but Card Cousins is where we open them all.
Thank you.
Draft lottery special also coming up this week.
We're doing that.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
Oh, yeah. We talked about it. I wrote it in the things. It's in the notes. Also, if you're in the Orlando area and you can go to Harry Buffalo for the draft lottery special, please do. Because if we were down there, we would go.
Part of me, I'm like at school and I'm hitting the head. I'm like, man, I should go. I got to get down there. And I'm like, no, I can't. I can't take another day off of work. But maybe for the draft. Maybe for the actual draft. That's in the summer. And
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I heard the draft is in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh.
And I think that's close.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Look out for that, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night. Peace.
Thanks for coming.